So, my favorite movie is When Harry Met Sally, because the very end of it has the best quote about love and relationships. Harry Burns, the male lead, says, "When you know you want to spend the rest of your life with somebody, you want the rest of your life to start as soon as possible." Well, I started dating when I was 18, and I quickly learned that, or thought it was crap. That's until this year. Back in June, I was on JSwipe. If you don't know, that's a Jewish dating app. The Jewish Hinge, if you're aware. And what happened is I matched with this guy. This guy named Benjamin started talking to me, and he started talking about being in Portugal. And I was like, yeah, okay, sure, you're in Portugal, right? But what I noticed is he started texting me. At times I was at work working third shift, and it was daytime there. And I was like, well, I don't think this is a joke. I think like maybe this is real. And one night he texts me while I'm at work, and he goes, "I'm coming back to the States on Saturday. You want to meet up?" And I go, "Well, I just got free tickets to a Phillies game from work. You want to go with me?" Thinking that, well, it's a free game, Philly's halfway between Lancaster and the Jersey Shore, this will be perfect. So we meet up at the Phillies game, we head to our seats, and we start talking. And before we know it, in the fifth inning, it gets rained out. And we quickly go to the Shake Shack in Citizens Bank Park, and we sat there the rest of the game. And we kept talking, and there was this familiarity about it. And there was just comfort in talking to him that I felt could go on forever. In fact, the reason we had left is because they were closing the Shake Shack and they wanted us out. It was that moment he fell in love with me. And I thought, this can't be it. This cannot be it, right? There has to be some more to this. So at the end of the date, he goes, "I'm sorry, I'm going to need dinner with you." You're going to need a dinner date? That's weird. And I said to him, well, I'm going to be back in Philly next Tuesday with my internship. You want to meet up? Because my internship through Lancaster History was going to pay for me to come back to Lancaster on the train anytime I wanted. So I said to to the person running the internship, I was like, "I want the last train out." And she was like, "Well, you were already scheduled to be on the 8 o'clock train. What's this about?" And I was like, "Well, because I have a dinner date." And she goes, "Oh my gosh, here's a dinner recommendation." And I was like, "Ah, cool." We get to the restaurant. He's late, coming from the Jersey Shore. And that whole dinner, we started talking about psychology and the history of psychology. And that's when I realized that like this guy's much more than just his facade. And after that, I texted him the next weekend I was off, and I said, "I'm thinking about going to a museum in Philly." And he goes, "Okay. You want to meet up?" And I go, "Yeah, let's go to the Jewish History Museum." Now, when I go to museums, I am like the great announcer of everything, right? I'm like, this is what this display did not tell you. And then there is this, right? And I am like quite the announcer, quite the Vanna White of everything. I go all out, to which that annoys absolutely everybody. So I was like, here's going to be the key. If he is not annoyed by this, maybe he's a keeper. We get to the museum, we start on the third floor, And I am doing my usual announcing. And he's like, oh, that's really cool. You know a lot. And I was like, yes, I do. I'm a history nerd, actually studying history. And by the time we got to the middle of the second floor, I stopped. And he looked at me and he goes, you don't have more facts? And I go, I thought I was annoying you. And he goes, no, not at all. I love it. Keep going. And after that, we went to dinner, and he goes, I think I need to see Lancaster. And I was like, you want to see Lancaster? Like, really? You don't want to keep having this, like, really fun time of us both meeting in Philly and having dates? And he was like, no, I want to spend the weekend in Lancaster. And I go, oh, okay. So he comes up here, and I take him to my synagogue, and we go back to an Airbnb, and I look at him as we're both going to bed that night, and I tell him, I could have 1,000,000 more nights like this. And he looks at me and he goes, yeah, because I think I want to marry you. And it was that moment that I realized, when you realize you want to spend the rest of your life with somebody, you want the rest of your life to start as soon as possible. And he decided that last Saturday, he, on his 26th birthday, in the middle of the American History Museum in the Smithsonian, to kneel down and ask me to be his wife, and I, of course, said yes.